Hello. Welcome back to Joyful Clicks. From the sun-drenched savannas of Africa to the icy Arctic tundras, the world teems with survival and secrets. Welcome to the shadowy world of espionage, where spies operate in secrecy, risking everything for their nations. Join us as we uncover the stories of 10 spies who changed history. Our journey begins in the early 20th century, against the tumultuous backdrop of World War I. The year is 1914, and Europe has been plunged into chaos. Amidst this maelstrom of conflict, a captivating figure emerges from the shadows, Margaretha Zell, better known to the world as Mata Hari. Born in the Netherlands, Mata Hari captivated audiences across Europe with her exotic dances, transforming herself into a creature of mystique and allure. Her performances, a tantalizing blend of Eastern and Western traditions, enthralled audiences in Paris, Madrid, and Berlin, elevating her to the status of a celebrated artiste. But behind the veil of silk and the allure of her performances, a more complex story was unfolding. Mata Hari, it would later be revealed, had become entangled in a dangerous web of espionage, playing a deadly game on the world's most treacherous stage. For within those captivated audiences were individuals who saw in Mata Hari more than just an entertainer. Her connections, her access to powerful men, made her a valuable asset, one that both sides of the burgeoning conflict sought to exploit. Lured by the promise of riches and adventure, Mata Hari agreed to spy for Germany, using her charm and charisma to gather intelligence from unsuspecting officers within the French military. Her movements were as graceful as her dances, her conversations as disarming as her smile, making her a seemingly innocuous observer in a world consumed by war. For nearly 2 years, Mata Hari navigated the treacherous waters of espionage, transmitting secrets across borders, all the while maintaining her facade as an exotic dancer. Her success, however, would ultimately prove to be her undoing. Unbeknownst to Mata Hari, French intelligence had been meticulously tracking her movements, intercepting her coded messages, and meticulously piecing together her clandestine activities. The net was closing in, and the once celebrated dancer was about to face her most challenging performance yet. In 1917, after a carefully orchestrated operation, French authorities apprehended Mata Hari, charging her with espionage. Her trial, a media sensation, painted a picture of a cunning seductress, a master manipulator who had betrayed her adopted country for personal gain. Our next journey takes us to the heart of the Cold War, a period defined by suspicion, paranoia, and the constant threat of nuclear annihilation. In this high-stakes environment, intelligence agencies on both sides of the Iron Curtain engaged in a relentless battle for supremacy, deploying their most valuable assets to infiltrate and undermine their adversaries. It is within this clandestine world that we encounter Aldrich Ames, a man who would rise through the ranks of the Central Intelligence Agency only to betray his country in one of the most damaging espionage cases in American history. Ames, a career intelligence officer, seemed an unlikely candidate for treachery. He was, by all accounts, a dedicated operative, a man who understood the intricacies of intelligence gathering and the importance of discretion. However, beneath the surface of this seemingly ordinary man lurked a darkness, fueled by greed and resentment, that would ultimately lead him down a path of betrayal with devastating consequences for his nation and his colleagues. Driven by financial difficulties and a growing disillusionment with his work, Ames made contact with Soviet intelligence in 1985, offering his services in exchange for financial reward. The Soviets, recognizing the potential goldmine within their grasp, readily agreed to his terms. Over the next 9 years, Ames systematically betrayed his country, delivering a treasure trove of classified information to the KGB. He exposed the identities of CIA assets operating within the Soviet Union, compromising delicate operations and leading to the deaths of numerous individuals who had risked their lives for their country. Despite the gravity of his crimes, Ames lived a life of outward normalcy, his treachery masked by his unassuming demeanor. However, his newfound wealth, incongruous with his government salary, raised suspicions within the CIA, prompting a discreet but thorough internal investigation. The investigation, meticulous and relentless, slowly began to unravel the truth. Financial records were scrutinized, travel itineraries examined, and colleagues interviewed, all in an effort to expose the mole within their ranks. The evidence, though circumstantial, pointed overwhelmingly to Ames. In the heart of Tokyo, a city teeming with life and intrigue, Richard Sorge, a German journalist, played a dangerous double game. He was the mastermind of what would become known as the Sorge Ring, a network of spies operating under the very noses of the Japanese. Sorge's cover was impeccable. Fluent in Japanese and well-connected within German diplomatic circles, he cultivated an image of a committed Nazi, all the while secretly working for Soviet intelligence. His apartment, a hub of social gatherings, became a prime location to gather sensitive information. From the bustling streets to the hushed whispers of diplomatic receptions, Sorge and his network meticulously gathered intelligence. Their targets were ambitious, uncovering Japan's military plans and deciphering the shifting alliances of a world on the brink of war. Sorge's intelligence was invaluable. He provided Moscow with critical information about Japanese intentions in Manchuria, easing Soviet fears of a two-front war. His reports, often highly detailed and accurate, were sent through coded messages, relayed by his trusted couriers. For 8 years, Sorge operated with remarkable success, his network seemingly impenetrable. But the very nature of espionage is a precarious one. Suspicions began to arise, and the Japanese secret police, ever vigilant and ruthless, were closing in. The net began to tighten when a Japanese radio operator, a key link in Sorge's communication chain, came under suspicion. His arrest sent shockwaves through the network, exposing vulnerabilities that would prove impossible to contain. In October 1941, the blow fell. Japanese authorities, armed with irrefutable evidence, moved swiftly, dismantling the Sorge Ring in a series of carefully planned raids. Sorge, the mastermind, was apprehended, his cover blown wide open. Imprisoned and interrogated, Sorge faced his fate with stoic resignation. The information he had provided to Moscow, invaluable though it was, could not save him. In November 1944, after 3 years of captivity, Richard Sorge was executed, his legacy forever etched in the annals of espionage. Kim Philby, the quintessential British gentleman, rose through MI6 while secretly serving the Soviet Union. His double life and charm masked a devastating betrayal. Philby handed secrets to the Soviets, betraying countless agents and shaking Western intelligence to its core. For over 3 decades, Philby lived a lie of breathtaking audacity. But the walls were closing in. Suspicions mounted, fueled by defections and intelligence leaks that pointed towards a high-level mole within British intelligence. Philby, sensing the noose tightening, made a daring escape. In 1963, under the cover of darkness, he fled from Beirut, Lebanon, vanishing into the night aboard a Soviet freighter bound for the Black Sea. His defection sent shockwaves through the Western world. The confirmation of his treachery confirmed the worst fears of Western intelligence agencies. A mole of unparalleled cunning and ruthlessness had penetrated their ranks. In Moscow, Philby was welcomed as a hero, a symbol of Soviet intelligence supremacy. He lived out his days fated by the KGB, his treachery rewarded with a comfortable life and the accolades of a grateful nation. His legacy, however, remains a chilling reminder of the treacherous undercurrents that flowed beneath the surface of the Cold War. As the world emerged from the ashes of World War II, a new conflict, the Cold War, cast a long shadow across the globe. At the heart of this ideological struggle lay a race for technological supremacy, most notably the development of nuclear weapons. In the United States, the Manhattan Project, a top-secret program, had successfully developed the atomic bomb. The secrets of this weapon of unimaginable destructive power were fiercely guarded, but within the project's ranks lurked a clandestine network of spies. Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, an unassuming couple from New York City, found themselves entangled in this web of espionage. Motivated by their communist ideals, they became conduits of information, passing on vital secrets about the atomic bomb to Soviet intelligence. Julius, an electrical engineer, had access to classified information through his work on military contracts. Ethel, a committed communist, acted as a courier and facilitator, helping to transmit the stolen information to Soviet handlers. Their actions, driven by ideological conviction, would have far-reaching consequences. In 1950, the Rosenbergs' world came crashing down. They were arrested by the FBI, accused of espionage. The charges against them were grave conspiracy to commit espionage, a crime that carried the death penalty. The Rosenberg trial captivated the nation, becoming a focal point of Cold War anxieties. The prosecution presented a compelling case, alleging that the Rosenbergs had betrayed their country for ideological reasons, handing the Soviets the key to unlocking the secrets of the atomic bomb. The Rosenbergs, for their part, maintained their innocence, claiming they were victims of a Red Scare witch hunt. Their steadfast refusal to confess, even in the face of overwhelming evidence, fueled public debate about their guilt or innocence. Despite pleas for clemency from around the world, the Rosenbergs were found guilty and sentenced to death. On June 19, 1953, they were executed at Sing Sing prison, their case becoming a symbol of the paranoia and fear that gripped America during the Cold War. In the heart of the Cold War, a chess game played out on the world stage. The Soviet Union, a formidable power, commanded vast territories and a mighty military. Yet Colonel Oleg Penkovsky grew troubled by his nation's direction, torn between duty and conscience. Driven by patriotism, he risked everything to become a double agent, hoping the West would see the true Soviet threat. Penkovsky's access to Soviet intelligence was unparalleled. He provided a treasure trove of secrets to the West, revealing Soviet military plans and undercover agents. His intelligence helped avert nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis. For 2 years, he risked everything, meeting handlers in secret and passing microfilm. But the KGB grew suspicious. The net closed in. In 1962, Penkovsky was arrested, tried, and executed. Yet, his legacy shaped the West's understanding of the Cold War. So, the race to unlock the atom's secrets defined history. In secret labs, brilliant minds like Klaus Fuchs worked on the Manhattan Project. But Fuchs harbored a secret. He was a committed communist and would share atomic secrets with Moscow, casting a long shadow over history. For 7 years, Klaus Fuchs lived a double life, working on the Manhattan Project while secretly passing atomic secrets to the Soviets. He met handlers in shadowy parks, handing over bomb designs and calculations. Fuchs's betrayal fueled the nuclear arms race, deepening mistrust between East and West. When exposed, he confessed and was sentenced to prison, his actions echoing through history as a cautionary tale. New York City, a place to reinvent yourself. Here, Anna Chapman, a young Russian woman with a captivating smile, made her mark. Effortlessly mingling with the city's elite, her charm opened doors to powerful circles. But beneath the glamour, Anna was a deep-cover agent sent to infiltrate and report on American power. Anna Chapman excelled at her clandestine task, using charm and intelligence to befriend those with access to sensitive information. But under the watchful eyes of the FBI, her facade began to crumble. In June 2010, the FBI swooped in, arresting Chapman and 9 other Russian sleeper agents. Chapman, the glamorous spy, became an international sensation. Her story a glimpse into the shadowy world of espionage. Sidney Riley, a man who traversed the world stage under a veil of aliases, remains an enigma even today. Born in Russia, his true origins are shrouded in mystery. adding to the intrigue surrounding his clandestine life. Riley's espionage career spanned decades and continents, his allegiances shifting with the changing tides of global politics. It was a dangerous game he played, navigating a treacherous landscape of secrets, deception, and betrayal. His exploits, often bordering on the audacious, earned him the moniker Ace of Spies. Yet, for all his daring and cunning, Riley's story is ultimately one of tragedy, a cautionary tale of a life lived on the edge of a knife. So, Riley's downfall began in 1925, as the Soviet Union, under the iron grip of Stalin, sought to eliminate their adversaries, both real and, perceived. Riley, with his history of anti-Bolshevik activities, became a prime target. The Soviets, who were just masters of deception, devised this elaborate ruse, exploiting Riley's own belief in his invincibility. They lured him into Russia, promising him a meeting with an anti-Stalinist group, a chance to strike a blow against the regime he despised. But the meeting was a trap, a carefully orchestrated performance designed to ensnare the seasoned spy. Riley, blinded by his own conviction, walked willingly into the lion's den, unaware of the fate that, awaited him. His capture marked the end of an era. The Ace of Spies, once a phantom, a whisper in the corridors of power, vanished into the abyss of Soviet prisons, his fate a chilling reminder of the perilous world he inhabited. Jonathan Pollard, an American intelligence analyst, found himself torn between loyalty to his country and allegiance to another. Driven by a complex mix of ideology and personal ambition, he embarked on a path that would irrevocably alter the course of his life. Pollard's clandestine activities began in the early 1980s, as he secretly began passing classified information to Israel, a nation he admired and felt a deep connection to. His actions, driven by a belief that he was serving a higher purpose, would have far-reaching consequences. The information Pollard provided, highly sensitive in nature, dealt with Arab states and Soviet military capabilities, intelligence he believed Israel was being unfairly denied. His actions, though motivated by a sense of loyalty to Israel, constituted a betrayal of his own nation's trust. Over time, Pollard's unusual behavior, his late nights at the office, and his sudden acquisition of wealth began to raise suspicions among his colleagues. The pieces of the puzzle were slowly falling into place, pointing towards a deeply unsettling truth. The FBI, alerted to the possibility of a mole within the intelligence community, launched a discreet investigation into Pollard's activities. The net was closing in, and it was only a matter of time before his double life would be exposed. In 1985, Pollard's world came crashing down. Confronted with overwhelming evidence, he was arrested. His betrayal of trust laid bare for the world to see. The case sent shockwaves through the U.S. intelligence community, exposing vulnerabilities and raising questions about loyalty and security. Pollard's actions had far-reaching consequences, straining relations between the U.S. and Israel, and sparking a debate about the ethics of espionage that continues to this day. His story serves as a stark reminder of the high stakes involved in the shadowy world of intelligence gathering. From the hushed whispers in smoke-filled rooms to the daring exchanges in the dead of night, the world of espionage has always held an enduring allure. It's a realm where truth is a slippery concept, and the line between right and wrong can become blurred beyond recognition. These stories of betrayal, loyalty, and intrigue remind us of the fragility of trust and the enduring human fascination with secrets. The spies we've encountered, driven by a complex web of motivations, have shaped the course of history from the shadows. Their stories, each a testament to the high-stakes world they inhabited, leave us pondering the moral dilemmas they faced, the choices they made, and the lasting impact of their actions on the world stage. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the shadowy world of espionage. We hope you've been captivated by the stories of these individuals who, for better or worse, altered the course of history. Which spy story surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating history content.